have dealt with the situation, we've taken this forward, and we continue to march ahead, and we're not going to be looking back at it. And we're really happy that that's behind us, and that's not something which we need to keep bringing up again. The last point on size and scale. Again, at one point it started to, there was a lot of talk about the bigger you are in size and scale, that's where you're going to get the most amount of growth, and everything is going to gravitate towards the much larger and bigger players. Our experience is you need a certain baseline size and scale, and above that, the economies of scale don't work as well, and you really need to work on innovation and the ability to add value, and that becomes far more powerful than just the marginal cost elements that come into play. So that's another element that kind of has I think where the thinking has gotten clarified a bit. So if you take a look at all of this stuff. Today, as we are in 2015, we feel very good and strong about our competitive positioning, about the models that we've adopted, and the market environment that exists, and we continue to want to take that and drive it forward. So where is EXL going to be in the next couple of years? This is a chart that we presented to our investors and our analysts at our Investor Day conference, which shows the composition of our business in 2012, how it's changed and evolved into last year, and where we think this business is going 3 years out. Now, I'll let you into a secret. If you measure the size of these circles, you will get the exact revenue that our board has set for us in 2017. It's a pretty good target. But I think the part that is important out here is we've moved from BPO to operations management and analytics. If you take a look at our analytics business today, by the way, this chart was drawn before the RPM acquisition was complete. Post the RPM acquisition, analytics is already at 20% of our revenues. And so the question then becomes, if analytics is already 20% of our revenues right now, why is it that in 2017 it continues to remain at 20%? Well, this chart was designed and drawn by Vivek Jaitley, our head of analytics. Now, the reason he will rationalize this to you is because we expect to make acquisitions, and the acquisitions are going to happen outside of analytics, and they're going to grow analytics at 40% plus on their own. So the rest of the company is going to be growing on the other side. But I guess this has got a couple of key points which I just want to highlight. This does highlight the fact that we think analytics is going to be really, really important as we move forward, and therefore we're going to be making a number of investments to make sure that we are at the leading edge of analytics. This also means that we think BPaaS is going to be a very, very important way for us to be able to serve our clients, and therefore we'll be making a number of investments that can allow us to serve our clients in a BPaaS format, and that's a heavy emphasis that we'll be making. So, I just kind of share this with you because this is what is driving some of our strategic decision making. And certainly when we think about making investments, doing acquisitions, looking forward in terms of our strategic growth, these are some of the things that guide and drive that strategy and that discussion. All right, so let's talk about the future. Now, most people, when you say they want to talk about the future, they bring up ice hockey. They bring up ice hockey because this phrase about knowing where the puck is going to go is more important than where the puck is, right? Everybody talks about that. Well, I don't play ice hockey. I play golf. Henry and I, we've got a good partnership in playing golf. So in the game of golf, everything is known to you up front. So you know exactly where the flag is and where the hole is and how far the green is. You know, where you know what the goal is, and that's how I think about what's happening in our industry and how we should think about the future. So, what I'm going to share with you in terms of trends, these are trends which we think are going to affect us over the next few years. But these are no surprises. These are very, very well-known facts. I think these are, everybody would be able to relate to it. The key is, as in the game of golf, it's not about, where the pin placement is or where the hole is, but it's how you get there. And you got to make sure you don't get up into the water hazard or you don't end up in the sand bunker. So for us, our future strategy is all about, if these are the three big mega trends that are going to impact our business and our industry for the next 5 years on a secular basis, how do we play the game? And what I want to talk to you about next is how EXL is thinking about playing the game in response to these three mega trends, which we think are the most important mega trends for our business. So the first, as a service. I think it's fairly clear that business process as a service is going to be disruptive, and it's going to change the way in which we operate. I think clients are finding it more and more difficult to continue to invest capital in technology and continue to improve it. They want a much more variable cost structure format. And particularly when it comes to mid-sized companies being able to compete against some of the larger sized companies, having access to the best-in-class technology and the best-in-class operations becomes really, really critical. So for us, we are going to be investing in this, in this strategy. We're going to be doing this in a very thoughtful and deliberate manner. We're going to do this gradually in certain areas where we think we can own and acquire the right kind of technology platform, and then take that technology platform and convert that into a BPaaS offering and make that available to our clients. What is going to be critical in this is the integration of our technology with our clients' technology platforms and being able to sync up seamlessly with them. And what's also going to be important is the ease of use, of being able to use these types of different BPaaS solutions as we move forward. So those are the two things that we are thinking of: the integration of the technology and the ease of use associated with that technology. Here's what we've done so far. We've taken a number of technology platforms that we bought and acquired, and we've converted them into a BPaaS format. So if you take SubroSource, that's a subrogation platform, CareRadius, which is a population health management platform for healthcare, LifePro, all of these assets we acquired. When we acquired these assets, except for SubroSource, LifePro and CareRadius, they were both on a licensed format. We now have the capability of offering these platforms both as a license format as well as on a BPaaS format. And so we've made the investments in terms of having hosted solutions and being able to offer this to our clients on a BPaaS format. The next is we've created some products of our own. So MedConnection and FNOL, these are two capabilities that we've created on our own, and these two products are both on a BPaaS format. We only engage with our clients on a BPaaS format with these two products. They're very, very easy to use, and you can integrate them with your systems very, very rapidly. We also have acquired Overland Solutions, which was actually far ahead of us and had adopted the BPaaS format, for several years. And so today we've got a strong capability with Overland Solutions, both for premium audit and for property surveys, where we already do this in a BPaaS format. What's not mentioned here is the acquisition that we made of RPM. There we do marketing analytics as a service. And again, that's on as a service format, and that's another critical way for us to be able to serve our clients. And lastly, where we can't buy or we can't own the technology platform, we started to partner with world-class technology providers and be able to engage and provide that solution to our clients on a as a service format. So we've got 3 different partnerships that we've got in place. Coupa for supply chain and for procurement, Blackline for reconciliation, and Nuance. In each of these 3 cases, the partnership is such that allows us to be able to go to our clients and offer services on a subscription basis. So continue to watch this space, and we'll keep pushing this along. All right. Did everybody download the app? Yes? Did everybody poll the survey? Not how good my speech is, but the other one. Okay? This was the question that was asked, which is, what percentage of business processes do you think will have real-time data analytics embedded into them in the next 1 year? Can we have the results? All right, so I'm seeing this just at the same time as you're seeing it. Less than 10% think less than 10% will be embedded in. 50% think that 10 to 30% of business processes will have real-time analytics. 20% think it's going to be 30 to 50, and 11% think it's going to be 50% plus. All right? And now let's change the time frame. And look at it over the next 5 years. There you go. So the good news is, all of you are collectively corroborating what EXL was already thinking about. We think, this embedding of analytics real-time into business processes is extremely important. This is something that will happen as analytics plays a much, much more important role in our business. And we need to drive towards integrating in analytics with operations management. The only trouble is it is extremely difficult to do so. If I can share with all of you our experience, we started to embark on this journey about 3 years back. So 3 years back, Pawan and I went to our operations delivery teams, and we told them we would like to actually integrate in analytics with the processes that you're running. And we picked up a couple of resources from our analytics group, and we said, why don't you run internal projects of figuring out how to be able to make better use of our clients' information and data that they've got with us and the processes that they're running with us. Nothing happened. We then took it a step further, and we said, the analytics guys, you need to sit on the operations floor, and you really need to make this thing work. We forced them to be there, and nothing happened. The analytics guys didn't have any respect for the operations management guys, and vice versa. And then finally we said, this is not working out. We're going to permanently embed analytics resources on the operations floor, and they will no longer report to their analytics boss and supervisor, but they will report to the operations manager and supervisor out there. And we changed the goal form of the operations manager and said, you're no longer responsible just for the SLAs, you're responsible for the integration, the successful integration of analytics and operations management. And that's when the magic happened. But it's really, really tough. So now, today we've got this going in about a third of our clients' operations and businesses. We've got analytics resources who report into the operations managers, and it's the operations manager's responsibility to be able to force this. And that's become a critical part, and that integration is something which we know will continue to evolve. If I think about analytics on a standalone basis, there the dynamic has changed as well. And it used to be about just build up a model for us. Now it is about how that decision is made. And it's about these 4 elements which are ingredients for success for any analytics engagement. You've got to be able to manage the data asset. You've got to be able to have skills in terms of modeling, and today the ultra customer centricity is where we're talking about, having clients where are uniquely and very, very sharply positioned and looking at demographic information and going down to the power of 1. The business insights, and that's got to be in real time. And there's got to be an effective feedback loop, because it's no longer good enough to just come up with the insight. Unless that insight is actionable and acted upon, it's no good. So that's a critical element of it. We focused on all of these different elements. We focused on our ability to be able to store data and access data. We've looked at ways in which we can leverage both structured and unstructured data, internal and external data. And if you see the acquisition that we've done with RPM, for the first time, we've now acquired a database of our own. And today, with RPM, we have 235 million individuals and consumers in the US on whom we've got all of this data all put together. And when you kind of combine this data with whether it's their demographic information, the zip code, their purchase of a car or an automobile or a home or whichever element, and you put that together, that becomes really, really powerful. So our vision in terms of taking analytics forward is to be able to own the data, have the capability of providing the analytical model on top of it with the insight, and be able to tailor that for any specific situation. Today, RPM does this very, very successfully only for P&C insurance companies. We are taking that from P&C to life. We're taking that from P&C to life to health, and we're going to take that outside of insurance and move it into our other industry verticals. So whether it be travel, transportation, and logistics, or it be utilities, or banking, or healthcare, we're going to expand this capability out there. And then we have this capability only in the US right now. But we're going to take this capability and expand that to UK, where we think, again, it's a rich market for us to be able to leverage this kind of a data asset. And the last piece is, this data right now is only for individual consumers. And we're going to take this up and have the same data available for small businesses. So just think about it. If you have this kind of powerful data for individual consumers, small businesses, and then you layer on top of that the modeling capability and the insight generation, that can be very, very powerful. And again, all of this is going to be provided to our customers on a as-is service format. So clients don't need to worry about the data. If they've got a marketing issue, we can help them in terms of their marketing issue. If they've got a risk issue, we're going to help them with that. So all of this is going to be analytics as a service. And that's where we are trying to take this forward. We're also doing the same thing on each of the other levers. So whether that be on modeling, for modeling what we've done is we've created microanalytics. Microanalytics is a proprietary set of about 300 or so algorithms that we built up. So now when a client comes to us and says, build me a model, we pick and choose some of these elements, and we are able to rapidly deploy it and create a model for them that works well. We took part in a competition, which was a heritage competition in healthcare. Heritage actually had 1,500 different companies and teams compete in that, in that competition. And the competition was all about creating the best model for predicting what's going to be the readmission rate for a particular set of healthcare patients. Because of our modeling capability and our ability to leverage this, we came in second place in a 2-year competition amongst 1,500 competitors. So that's, that just shows you the power of modeling. The same thing is for business insights and visualization, and finally execution. That part I can't overemphasize. Many times, you build a model, you demonstrate the insight, but nothing is done about it. We are in a unique position where we can not only come up with the insight, but we can actually make sure that the execution takes place and the business benefit is derived. All right, the last mega trend, automation. This is what everybody is getting very excited about. Heard about robotics? It's the sexiest new phrase for the last 12, 18 months. Everybody wants to use robotics in their business. And we are all going to get roboticized. Let me ask the question. Let's have the answer. Thank God. Otherwise, our business was going to be, in jeopardy. All right. So, the way I read it, 87.5% of you think, somewhere less than 25-30%. And let's see, in the 5-year time frame. So the 5-year time frame, I guess it shifts a bit with 51% in the 25 to 50% category, but 36% still think it's going to be less than 25%. Now, I'll share with you where EXL is on this. We've taken a look at robotics, and by the way, there are all kinds of definitions of robotics, and we are talking really about tools which are cognitive in nature, which are intelligent, and where the user interface is intuitive. So that's what we think defines robotics versus other automation tools, all right? And I'm not going to talk about other automation. The other automation is going to be a very, very important part of it and has a different, feel to it. Robotics is cognitive, intuitive, user interface. Those are the two broad things that would, differentiate robotics with the other forms of automation. Our viewpoint is, and we've tried and we've tested this in our business, we find that there is applicability of robotics in the business. It is limited. Was that me? It is limited in terms of the kind of impact that it can have on processes that we handle. Certainly in terms of voice-based interaction, there's got limited use of robotics out there. In analytics, we think there is limited use of robotics. There are today still a number of areas where if you've got handwriting and to be able to take a look at that and pick that up and translate that and input that into systems, that's an area of where it doesn't work so well. Where there are frequently changing business rules, there robotics has a challenge. And then certainly when decision making and judgment is required, I think a commercially and an economically viable robot is still not there. So we think we actually do agree that this is going to be a slow and gradual process, but the hype around this is tremendous. And the hype around this is going to force companies and others to start thinking about it and investing in it. And EXL has already been investing in robotics now for several quarters. And what we've got in place, we think, are very, very strong tools which we've created of our own, which we haven't been calling robots so far, but they are very much robotic-like, and they operate like robots. So that's something which is in place. For us, automation is the full spectrum, and it's only the very extreme end, which is the intelligent automation, which is about robotics. Business process automation, technology wrappers, workflow automation, or rule-based automation. These are things that we've been investing in for the last several years. We now have acquired Blue Slate, so we've got a capability of not only tinkering around with the process, but actually making changes to our clients' technology systems and being able to act in an advisory capacity for that. So that's a very strong capability. We've got a number of our own products and wrappers, and then that's in place. And we will continue to work in terms of experimenting with robots and trying to be able to bring that to bear for you. So, where does this all leave us? Basically, if you think about it, all of these things put together, we've developed a framework that really brings in the trifecta of operations management, technology, and analytics together. And we call that the Business E-Accelerator Framework. And for us, the Business E-Accelerator Framework is using all the skills that we've got on analytics, on Lean Six Sigma, benchmarking, technology, and putting it all together and being able to add a tremendous amount of value and create business outcomes for our clients. We've deployed this now in about 40% of our clients' businesses. The rollout of this is still not complete, and we think by the end of this year, it will be largely complete, and it will be fully complete by middle of next year. This is something which we've seen results from. It gives us 5 times the amount of productivity benefits in 12 to 18 months, as opposed to getting that over an extended period of time. So it accelerates the ability to provide value to our customers, and we are seeing really, really strong examples of this. And it's not only us who's seeing strong examples of this. I think we are being recognized in the marketplace because of all of these changes that we've made. And in the last 18 months, I think we've moved up in our rankings in every single industry vertical that we operate in, or every single line of business that we operate in. And I'm really, really happy to say we are leaders in insurance, in healthcare, in analytics. We are leaders in the travel, transportation, and logistics business, utilities in UK, and we continue to make great strides out here, and I think the recognition seems to be flowing in. Not only that, It certainly seems to be resonating quite nicely with our client base, because our ability to grow our business organically, that has suddenly been rejuvenated, and we are now accelerating the pace of our growth this year. And the number of new clients that we've signed up, that's stepped up as well. So this is, this has been really, really terrific, and we are really delighted and happy where we are. I want to conclude out here by saying none of this would have happened if we didn't have your confidence and your support in terms of giving us the inputs and pushing us in terms of making sure that we innovate and we continue to remain great partners for you, and for your continued